Hello there! Thank you so much for checking out my YouTube channel and welcome back to Students Learning Avenue where we learn English grammar.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it.
This tutorial is a continuation of the first video where we learned the part of speech. So today we're going to talk about conjunctions, prepositions, interjections, and determiners. Now let's discuss conjunctions. Conjunctions are defined as connectors of words, phrases, and sentences. In other words, conjunctions are used to connect two or more words, phrases, and sentences. For example, and, for, because, even though, although, despite, in fact, nevertheless, however, and so on and so forth. Hence, there are three types of conjunctions. First, coordinating conjunctions. Second, subordinating conjunctions. And third, correlative conjunctions. I'll be giving you few examples of each conjunction because it's a long topic to discuss. So we will start with coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are conjunctions used to connect two independent clauses. I mentioned independent clauses, which means these are clauses that can stand on its own. It has a complete thought, like a complete sentence, which contains a subject and a predicate in its sentence. Again, I would like to reiterate that coordinating conjunctions connect two independent clauses, and examples of coordinating conjunctions are, always remember this mnemonic device, the fanboys, which stands for F is for, A is for and, N is for nor, B is for but, O is for or, Y is for yet, and S is for so. Let's use the conjunction and for our example. My mom works in Australia and my dad works in Canada. As we can see there, we have two independent clauses in that given sentence. The first independent clause is my mom works in Australia, which it can stand alone because it has a complete thought, it has a subject, and it has its predicate. And then the second clause is my dad works in Canada. It has also a complete thought because it contains its subject and its predicate. And the and there, our conjunction, only functions to connect the two independent clauses. Like I said, subordinating conjunctions are used to connect dependent clause to an independent clause. Now let's take a look of this given example. Daniel reports to work even though he is sick. Now let us always remember that dependent clause has its own subject and its own predicate. However, it makes the readers wonder what happens next. Now, take a look. Daniel reports to work even though he is sick. One thing to remember is dependent clause is introduced by subordinating conjunctions. Now let's go back to the given example. Daniel reports to work even though he is sick. Let's identify that Daniel reports to work is our independent clause because it has its subject and it has its own predicate, which it can stand on its own. Now, let's try to analyze the second clause, which is even though, or he is sick. He is sick there, yes, it has its own subject and it has its own predicate. However, it is introduced by a subordinating conjunction. As I said, dependent clause is introduced by a subordinating conjunction. And in the sentence there, even though it introduces the second clause, which states rather it states that he is sick. So therefore, he is sick there is our dependent clause. It's just it's just so easy to identify where or what is or which is the dependent clause in a sentence, because always remember an or a dependent clause is introduced by a subordinating conjunctions. Like I said, there are many examples of subordinating, and some are unless, despite, even though, although, because, in fact, however, and so on. Now we're going to discuss the third kind of conjunction, which is the correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction are conjunctions that are in pair. When we say in pair, these conjunctions are used in a sentence together. You should not separate the two. There are many, there are some only examples of correlative conjunctions, like not only but also, they are pair, nor and neither, they are also pair, either or and either, they are also pair. Now I'll give you some example, or an example rather, of correlative conjunction. Like, I want either cheesecake or chocolate cake. In the given example there, we use either and or. Again, I want either cheesecake or chocolate cake. We are going to use the correlative conjunction together in a sentence. Okay? Discussing conjunctions take quite long, but anyway, now let's talk about prepositions. Prepositions are used to show relationship among the different parts or elements in a sentence. There are many examples of prepositions like on, at, beneath, after, under, above, and so on. And there are also different, functions of prepositions, like it shows location, position, and also time and place. Yes. So I'll just give you a quick example of, or a quick discussion about preposition. Now, let's take a look of this example. The bowl is on the table. When we say on the table, it means we use the preposition there on. When we say on, on is used to show a location or to give a location. It means location, okay? Which means on is above the table. So it means the bowl is on the table. So it's like, try to imagine that the bowl is on the top of the table. Okay? So that is the quick discussion about prepositions, and in my coming videos I will discuss deeply about prepositions. Now let's discuss interjections. Interjections are so simple to understand because they are just expressions. They are only, used to express extreme feelings, extreme emotions. But they are used also in a sentence, but it has no grammatical value in it. We often we quite often use them not in writing but in speaking, because these are used to express feelings or emotions. Now I'll give you some examples of interjections, like oh, ah, hey, ouch, hi, hello. Those are some examples of interjections. Always remember that the value of interjections in our sentence is only by giving more intense feeling of our expression. And that is only the function of interjections in a sentence. Okay? As I said earlier that we quite often use them, but not in writing, but more on speaking. In addition, interjections have also several uses. Like it is used to express, argument, used to express sadness or even happiness. Okay, I'll give you an example. Like, oh dear, you're so pretty, like that. All right. Oh dear there is an example of interjections, like we show sadness or we show mercy to a child, like, oh dear, you are so pity, like that. All right. Now we're down to the last part of speech, which is determiners, or also known as articles. Now, there are only three articles in English grammar, namely a, an, and the. Now, let's try to discuss these three articles or determiners. First is a. A is used when we say something, when we mean something that is not specific or in general term. When we say general term, it means we don't know the gender of an object. And we also use a when we express singularity of the subject in our sentence. When we say singularity, it means only one, like a bike, a candy, a man, a teacher, a vlogger, like that. Okay? So I'll give you an example. A man is handsome. A man is handsome. When we say a man is handsome in the sentence there, we know that a man is handsome, but we don't know who the man is. That's why it is in general term, and also there is only one man. Now, let's move on to the next article, which is an. An has the same rule that govern with a, but an here is used to express a general term and also singularity, but the only thing differs from a is that the word must start with a vowel. When we say vowel, like a, e, o, u. In the Philippines, we only have 5 vowels, the, a, I, o, u. But actually, in the International Phonetics Alphabet, there are many vowels, like a, e, I, o, u, u, and so on. But in the Philippines, we only have 5 vowels. Since we are talking about here vowels, then always remember that the articles an must be paired with a word that starts with a vowel. For example, an apple, an ant, and so on. Okay? There are so many words that start with a vowel, and then we can use the article an in pairing it in a sentence. Alright? So now we're going to discuss the article the. The article the is so simple. We use the article the when we mean something specifically. Okay? However, it can be used when we express singularity or plurality. When we say plurality, it means the subject in our sentence is more than one. Okay? Like for example, the teacher, or we can also say the teachers. Like the teacher is teaching. But we can also say the teachers are teaching. Alright? And we can also say that the plants, okay, the plants are beautiful. So it's just so easy to understand articles. Alright? That's all, and I hope that I am able to help you understand the parts of speech. For more educational content, please do not forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Teacher Tony again, saying God bless, enjoy the rest of your day, and keep safe.